Okay, Kyle, let's take you through your jaw harp. I decided to make this for you because you early on commented on my videos that you one day wanted to own a authentic Matt Betts handmade jaw harp. And I thought that was super cool that somebody actually expressed interest in wanting to own an instrument that I made with my own two hands. And so I decided that as, you know, a guinea pig, I would make you a harp. And I wanted to add a theme to it. And I'm not even going to try to butcher the pronunciation of this. I got Inuk's help with this. We decided that the name of the harp is actually Arctic Thunder, and you'll know why soon. But this language here, the syllabics, the pronunciation, or not pronunciation, but the translation of Maqaiti. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but Maqaiti's jaw harp. Sorry about that. Thumb slipped. That has significance with this harp. So let's just take a bit of a tour of this. It's made out of 3/16 key stock, the same as this stuff here. There's a guy on YouTube who actually been buying my harps from. He owns a website called theharpery.com. He sent me some spring steel reeds. And that's when I started making real jaw harps. And so this one here this is using the 1075 spring steel at a 20 thou thickness. Basically, it's the mildest and thinnest, so giving for the most flexible reed I could, because I don't know if you've actually played one of these before, and I thought that's honestly the easiest way to do it, is to have a nice, easy, flexible reed. Sorry, something's itchy on my ankle here. All right, so anyway, you'll notice the coloring on the reed. And I did that with that torch right there. I heated it up just enough so that it gave some cool coloring. The tail and the coloring on the reed is supposed to represent the Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis. Now here's this just makes the harp, in my opinion. This is super cool. I hope I did it justice. I'm not super good with the engraver yet, as you'll see in a minute, but I think I did this okay, at least enough that you can read what it is. And just as we're reading it, look at the colors on the reed. Look at that shine through. There's a teardrop shaped trigger that I have narrowed down. You can see it's flattened on the edge there. And I just chose some random amount until I thought it sounded good, until it just started to sing. And that's the thing about what I found when you're making these jaw harps, is that they kind of develop on their own. They tell you how they want to sound, or they build themselves in a way. And this is so far probably my finest one. And the sound quality and volume and everything, it tends to be a function of how well you hone the reed, how well you align the edges of the frame in the reed, and how close you get the gaps. And really happy with the way this one came out. It is honed. I sharpened it on a whetstone and everything. Sharpened like a knife blade. It originally was just a flat rectangular cut chunk of metal. So it was all hand ground and honed. The frame itself, again, 3/16 key stock. Now, when I started bending it, the shape of this, and I told Inuk this, that the shape of it reminded me of the hood of one of her parkas. And that's when I knew that this frame was going to be yours. And I held on to it. It sat there on my workbench. You could look at some of the videos on YouTube, and it sits there in the corner. It sat there on my workbench until it was time to make that. So, if you notice on the inside, those are basically brushed tool marks from my sanding wheel that I would have, like right now it's a grinding wheel on there, but yeah, sanding wheels. That is supposed to represent the fur lining of the inside of a Nux parka. The inside, I do this with all my harps. The inside edges have, not of the reed, but of the frame itself, has basically been sharpened to an axe edge. I use my axe file for that, and it is a sharp edge, not rounded or anything like that on the edge of the rest of it, but it is sharp where it vibrates with the reed. Now, what else is on here? We've got one of the nicest crimps I've done yet. A bit of shaping on the tail. And again, some engraving. Ooh, that's a nice focus. Super cool. That guy was a little tricky, that little guy in the air there. Now, on the other side, this is where I just kind of let the Arctic inspire me. So I mean, I've never been to Nunavut. I've been to just that chunk of Northwest Territories above the Yukon, and I've been to the Yukon and Alaska. So I started off with some things, and oh man, I'm glad this is showing up the way it does, because that one was the hardest one for me. This is supposed to be a dog sled. And it looks like if you catch the light just right, I think everybody else might be able to see what I see and try to engrave. But there is a musher who is casting a whip with two huskies in front. We've got some pine trees there. We've got a kind of a crudely drawn inukshuk and a whale tail. I'll get to that in a minute. Over on the other side, when we get past the musher, I hope you can see the dog sled and kind of him cracking the whip. We've got some more pine trees. And again, I know there's not really a lot of trees up in Nunavut, but, you know, this is kind of a nod to the Yukon, I guess. We've got some caribou. I know we got those up there. And then here's a much better drawn inukshuk and a much better drawn whale tail. So the whale tail, now I thought this was so cool. So when I asked Inuk if she could help me with some sort of language that I could put on here, I wanted to inscribe something. I originally wanted to inscribe something that would kind of marry ancient traditions, because this instrument, which is found all over the world, almost all over the world, is a wide spread of it anyway. It's one of the earliest instruments known to man. It's as old as basically singing itself. So the fact that, you know, this is being, I'm building this in modern times, kind of using crudely ancient techniques maybe, but with modern materials. Like, honestly, this probably came from China. It's probably Chinese steel. It's cheap. I got it from Canadian Tire. But the fact that I can make an instrument, a musical instrument, sound the way it does, and I don't know. And then it just kind of, the whole merging of cultures, old traditions, new, modern, future look aheads and such like that. I don't know. But excuse me, in the end, Maqaiti's jaw harp just made a hell of a lot more sense. And there you go. There it is. Anyway, without further ado, let's listen to it. Arctic Thunder.